Here's our lineup today here on the Now. Ghost guns are getting new attention after a teen opened fire with one at a California high school. What's being done about these untraceable weapons? And with more power shutoffs or wildfires this week, we're getting answers on what your rights are with this for any type of weather event. Telehealth, it is popular, could be really helpful for seniors. We're going to check out some new medical technology that could be coming to your home.
All right, Chris, thank you. I'm Nicole Griffin, and you're watching the Now Indy. We begin now with the ongoing outrage over an Indiana University professor that is making national news. That professor is accused of sending racist and sexist tweets and has been condemned by the university's provost, but he's allowed to keep his job. ABC's Trevor Ault has the story.
An Indiana University professor is under fire, accused of sending racist, sexist, and homophobic posts on social media. The backlash began earlier this month when business professor Eric Rasmussen shared an article on Twitter that argued women may be destroying academia and quotes the article, writing in part, "Geniuses are overwhelmingly male."
For a professor that, especially at an esteemed place like the Kelley School of Business, to have those views and say them so publicly is really kind of disheartening and very, very disappointing.
In a scathing letter, the school's provost says Rasmussen, who has been teaching there since 1992 and has tenure, has pushed bigoted views on social media for years, including that women do not belong in the workplace, that gay men should not be permitted in academia because they're promiscuous, and that black students are generally inferior academically to white students. But despite that, Rasmussen will not be fired.
We're a public institution, and unlike private employers, we're bound by the First Amendment of the Constitution.
The professor is aggressively defending himself, saying he shared that tweet about women in academia because he thought it was interesting, not that he agreed with it, though he says he is proudly conservative.
You can't be a conservative and not have people find something you said that they don't like.
On his webpage, Rasmussen accuses the university provost of misrepresenting his opinions, though he does say he is on record as saying homosexuals should not teach grade and high school and refers to affirmative action as corrupt. Indiana University will now allow students to transfer out of Rasmussen's classes if they choose, and he'll be using a blind grading process to ensure there's no bias. But Rasmussen says the university is now encouraging bias against conservatives like him. Trevor Ault, ABC News, New York.
That sun is setting, and it is a beautiful one here across central Indiana as we look over downtown Indianapolis, and it was nice to see some sunshine here as we've been locked in the clouds for much of the week. Now, temperatures a little bit cooler, and as we go into December, there are some signs here with the updated outlook for some above-average warmth to return here to central Indiana. Of course, our average high just continues to get a little bit cooler. We'll go from 44 on the 1st to December 31st and New Year's Eve at 36 degrees. All right, temperature-wise right now, 30s and lower 40s, 41 in Indy, 38 for you in Greenfield and Crawfordsville, coming in at 37 degrees. Satellite and radar nice and quiet here across the Hoosier State. Now, as we look off to the south and west, don't have to go very far for some more clouds and even some precipitation, which will have an impact on our weekend forecast. But this evening, just a gradual increase in those clouds and temperatures on the chilly side, lower 30s through 10. Chris?
Today, the president says he would like a full Senate trial if the House votes to impeach him. This comes after 5 days of public impeachment testimony, and now that part is finished. So Maya Rodriguez is showing us where we go from here.
When the impeachment inquiry kicked off nearly 2 weeks ago.
Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you are about to give is the truth, the whole truth?
Truth became part of a political tug-of-war.
Lots of bombshells.
Louis Michael Seidman is a professor of constitutional law at Georgetown. He's studied the impeachment process since the Nixon years and says whether or not a crime was committed is not necessarily the point with impeachment.
The standard is not the criminal law. The standard is whether he is abusing the powers of his office and doing the job that he's supposed to do to make sure that the laws are faithfully executed.
Most House Republicans have backed Trump and don't appear to be budging.
The American people sent us to Washington to solve problems, not to wage scorched earth political warfare against the other party.
So now what? Based on all the testimony, the House Intelligence Committee will send any materials it collected and a report to the Judiciary Committee. The Judiciary Committee may hold its own public hearings or depositions. Those members will then decide if impeachment goes to the full House for a vote. Impeachment requires 218 members to vote for it. There are 233 Democrats in the House. If it passes, it moves to the Senate, where a trial is held with senators acting as the jury. There are 53 Republicans in that chamber. Removal from office requires a 2/3 vote there. Despite those numbers, Professor Seidman cautions against trying to predict an outcome.
It's just a fool's errand to predict with any certainty how this will end.
And whether or not that includes the removal of a sitting president. In Washington, D.C., I'm Maya Rodriguez reporting.
Maya, thank you. And the parents of the American man who died after being released from North Korea want that country to be held responsible. Otto Warmbier was in a coma when he returned to the United States, and now his parents saying today they want to shut down illicit North Korean business assets around the world. Warmbier's parents say they hope the Trump administration addresses North Korea's human rights issues. Let's get back to our lineup, and we are learning the weapon used in the recent deadly shooting at a California high school was a ghost gun. It is the latest case connected to one of these untraceable weapons, so we're taking a look at what's being done to regulate them.
Hurry in for Employee Pricing Plus.
Welcome back to the Now Indy. Big academic honors celebrated today at the Immaculate Heart of Mary Catholic School on the north side. The school was again named a National Blue Ribbon School. This prestigious honor was only awarded to 12 schools in the entire state of Indiana, and it is given for achieving academic excellence. This is the second time the school has won this award. Mayor Hogstad, First Lady Janet Holcomb, and Congresswoman Susan Brooks all helped celebrate with the students. Brooks told the students why this particular award was so important to the community.
The biggest reason you guys got this award is because of the students. It's because you work so hard, because you care about each other, because you built an awesome community of students who really care, not only about yourselves and your families, but your community.
In addition to Immaculate Heart of Mary, 5 other schools in central Indiana are also named Blue Ribbon Schools. They are St. Thomas Aquinas School in Indianapolis, Brownsburg West Middle School, also Mohawk Trails Elementary in Carmel, St. Maria Goretti School in Westfield, and Van Buren Elementary in Plainfield.
California recently passed a law that would make ghost guns traceable. Ghost guns are weapons that can be made at home with a kit and parts. Now, they don't have a serial number, and California's law would require owners to apply for serial numbers. It doesn't take effect until 2024. This law passing just before it was discovered the shooter at a high school near Los Angeles last week used one. Investigators say the shooter's gun did not have a serial number. He also had another kit at home to build a gun. Now, gun kits, they are legal. They're not assembled. It's okay to sell them without performing a background check on the buyer. Now, it's only illegal for the buyer to possess once the gun is built.
So at the time the parts are sold, it's legal for the seller to sell them with no background check. But as soon as they're assembled into an operable firearm, in many cases, if the person, again, is a minor or is a felon or a domestic abuser, again, it becomes illegal for that person to buy, to have the gun.
The ATF reports nearly a third of gun crimes in the Los Angeles area have involved a ghost gun, which is part of why California is taking action. New Jersey also passed a law related to ghost guns back in 2018. It bans buying firearm parts that don't have a serial number. Also bans using 3D printers to build guns or gun parts. It makes it illegal to distribute computer code to 3D printed gun. Thousands of people who signed up for a risk-free trial offer for skincare products are getting a refund. The FTC says the companies were selling the brands you see right here. They asked people to give their credit card information that was supposed to be for shipping issues and fees. Instead, they just charged them monthly for products they didn't order. The FTC is sending nearly 80,000 checks for about $23. All right, ahead in our lineup, this week, the power company turning off the lights again in Northern California, hoping to prevent its power lines from sparking wildfires. We're looking into whether your gas or electric company can do the same thing before a hurricane, maybe a blizzard.
At Ross, yes for less.
Let's start the Now News feed with a major oops for Tesla. Video's going viral of it. You've probably seen it. The windows of the company's armored truck cracking with a metal ball during a demo. It's trying to show just how tough it actually is, but it was built as bulletproof glass. Well, it appears Alexa and Siri becoming part of the family because a new Pew Research study found that more than half of smart speaker owners say please when asking for something. Researchers say women are the ones saying please more than men when it comes to the smart speakers. Well, a lot of people excited about Frozen 2. Take a look at these pictures here on St. Luke's Health System's Instagram page. This is out of Kansas City. Babies all dressed up like the characters from the movie, as that movie hitting theaters today. This is pretty cool. People on both sides of the U.S.-Mexico border are talking to each other through a unique interactive art installation.
Hola. Hola.
Oh, someone's there. Someone's just touching the sensor, and that's their heartbeat. And I can feel it with my hands.
Yeah, so you step up to a microphone attached to a searchlight, and when your light intersects with someone else's light on the other side, well, you can talk to each other or just feel their heartbeat. The creator of the exhibit, it's called Border Tuner, has created similar interactive exhibits all over the world. The one at the Mexico-U.S. border has been up for